Bosnia. We got Bosnia in the house. Bring it on home. Welcome, everybody, to the Happy Oyster Show. I am your host, Bart Burke. We got Captain Freddie, the Angry Bayman, in the house. He's going to be giving us a fishing lesson today, boys and girls. We got to have a little scoop on our sponsor, Netminder. This stuff really works. No ifs, no ands, and no buts. I got ourselves a little cage. We happen to we'll have a little animal demonstration here today. We took delivery of a couple of oysters this week. Somebody fulfilled an obligation. We built them a flupsy, and in turn we bartered for oysters, little baby ones. And we got a couple of different flavors and sizes, but some of them are growing really, really well. We actually have them floating in Freddie's Creek at the present moment, which we found out is excellent water, by the way, which we kind of knew it was. Freddie knew it was good creek water and whatnot. But, springtime came along, had a little seed, did a little test. Creek water's great. We're going to show you what's going on today with those. Freddie brought in a fishing pole. We're talking about expansion. We're talking about the boat. Things are actually moving along pretty nicely, let me tell you what. You have to adapt to change, and you have to be ready to adapt to change at a moment's notice. And most people do not know how to adapt to change.
I do. Get rid of that old outboard and get a new one.
So we got ourselves a nice brand new old outboard motor. We went down considerably to a 115 horse.
Doesn't matter. Probably better.
Put a little better. Yeah, probably better because it's going to burn a little less. It works like a clock. We had a little fuel problem, but not a big one. We just had the hose was kind of a little kinked, and I just unkinked it, and everything worked out just dandy on that.
Roy hooked us up with the right propeller because he's the man.
That's right, Roy Bartel again over at Remsenburg Marina. Skipper T had a late night last night, so she will not be joining us today. She's working over there at the local fish house here in town, doing a little expediting kitchen work, and she's having fun with that. That's good. I'm glad she's having fun because that's what it's all about. You got to have fun, and we are too. It's not the treasure; it is the quest. Let me tell you what. Where was I?
We just gave Roy a plug.
Oh, Roy a plug. Propeller. Propeller and the size of the propeller. Where are you going?
Pitch of the propeller.
No.
Pitch of the propeller.
I changed to come over to you, and then it's like, Jesus, Christmas. He goes scooting right into my position.
It's the pitch.
The pitch of the propeller, it pushes the boat like great. It's awesome. The thing is up. If you come over to our Instagram and check us out, we got a little picture on there. We would be streaming live from the boat right now if,
Subscribers.
If we had 1,000 subscribers. So what seems to be the holdup, boys and girls? Beg, borrow, steal, do something. Antonio said to me this morning, he says, that's my son. He says, why don't you just go buy 100 subscribers online? He says, they're cheap, man. It's like, only the kids know how to do that shit. I don't know how to do that,
Even I knew how to do it.
Buying subscribers, though, that's cheap, man. That's kind of like, that's not ethical. Where are we at? We need I think we're at 940 or something like that. We're getting close, man. We got
we got a contest running. When we hit 1,000, somebody gets
That's very true.
A worm shirt or something.
That's right. They get a worm shirt. It's actually caterpillar, but moth. All right. Where was I on the expansion? We're talking about. We got an email. I got to talk. Tony Joe emailed the wrong person over at Mook. We got to call up Mook, and we're going to see if we can get ourselves some little baby seed. And we're going to try a little experiment over in Freddie's Creek with the seed condo. Oh, I should have probably left this where it was. The seed condo is looking like this. This is a fairly new piece of equipment that we're about to deploy, but we've been deploying something that's very, very similar to it. This is a seed condo. It is not a piece of wood in here. This is see-through, okay? This is a 500 mesh. This is a very, very fine mesh. Able to deal with very, very itty-bitty baby oysters. This is going to have some floats on it. I'll demonstrate in half a second and a lid. But this is kind of a cool little creation we got going on here. This is a sleeve that goes into, okay, and a bag. So now for maintenance purposes, we can do what we want. This has been coated with our Netminder. Dudes, this stuff works. Netminder biofouling, anti-biofoul paint works. It seems to work really well. I mean, really, really well. It's not that abrasion resistant, so you have to be careful when you're dealing with it. You do not want to spray the fabric before you work it. Work your fabric, make it to whatever you want it to do, and then paint it. It doesn't work the other way around. I tried it both ways just to see what would happen. It didn't work. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Continue on the thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please tell everybody to subscribe. So anyway, oysters are going to go inside of this, and then this goes into here, and this is going to be floated on the surface. The surface has a lot of nutrients. The surface at Freddy's Creek seems to have a lot of nutrients. And again, it's fairly closer to the inlet. We know our buddies, shout out to Paul McCormick over there at Great Gun. We know his water is really well, which he's kind of on the other side of the inlet. We're on this side of the inlet, and that inlet's in the middle kind of. We're on a creek fairly close to the inlet. The water seemed to be phenomenal on that creek.
There's no bulkheading, and it's almost a virgin marsh surrounding it.
And that's got something to do with it. You know, Freddie had mentioned that the other day. There's no bulkhead along that creek. It's all like, and then there's a little pier that comes out, and then it sits down on a couple of floating docks. People have their boats and whatnot, but it's all marsh. A lot of great wildlife going on. We've been cutting up about the swans and the ducklings and, you know, the various things that attack various little ducklings that go along, like snapping turtles and seagulls, and then there's little baby ducks, and they're so cute. And, you know, just all of that kind of good stuff. The bay is coming back, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Stunk a couple of things, floaters into the water there, and wow, stuff was growing like mad. Would you like to see? Come on over.
4 times the growth.
What are we going to do here? We need what are the school do? Oh, there it is. Okay. The growth is really, really kicking it. I got to just sit up here for half a second. Come on over. Where's that other stool? So I just picked up a whole bunch. We got them out of the creek here in the morning, and we'll share this with you. Here we go. You do not want to have oysters in the direct sunlight for any kind of super length of time. So I just covered those over. I did not open this until I just got here. You know, guys, once I get 1,000 subscribers, it makes things so much easier. We can actually do a show with the cell phone. It just makes things so much simpler. All right, this has been in the drink for a while. We just serviced our cage and whatnot because we took delivery of all that seed that we were just talking about, and
you're probably gonna have to get back inside a little more to get out of that direct sunlight that's on it because it's like a whiteout.
Oh, all right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Let's go back to this. This is such a pain in the ass, guys. Can you guys please tell everybody to subscribe? Would it be better here, Fred, if I pulled that whole cage right into here? That would be better, right?
I think that would be better because out there you got to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're dealing with that light and the bright sun and all of that. It's a beautiful day here today.
It's like a whiteout.
Yeah. We need a producer too.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need somebody to take over our social media and all of that. All right, how's that? Better. All right, now you guys can see it pretty good, no? Boom. All right. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys.
That's better.
All right.
Way better.
Let me unhook here. This apparatus here has been in the creek for a while.
Months.
It was I'd even say maybe even a year.
Oh yeah, that's the one that.
This is the one that. This is one of the original pieces of equipment that we built with irrigation PVC glued together as a float.
It's been in there at least a year.
It had all kinds of gunk. We retrieved it back at least a month, maybe even a little bit more than a month and a half ago. At that time, after we did it, we seasoned it, we coated it with our netminder, and it has not got one speck of growth growing on it. It's got some algae that floated along that just kind of like lays on it, but that's about it. This is like you said, this is the original. All right, I'm not going to go too hog wild here. Let me just show you a real quick setup here. What's going on? All right, we got two compartments. I got the big over here, and we got two sizes of small little runskers. Now, it's important that these stay flat. Because when you start to pull them out, sometimes you might lose them on the side. And I started to this is why you have to be really careful. You can see kind of them sitting along the side here. These got to go in there a little bit better, all right? Getting them out of the water. We've got to make sure you keep it level. But we didn't lose any. That's why we have the double protection, super galactic prophylactic going on over here. I need something to hold this up. You got to be so careful with these things. They stick to everything. All right, that's what I mean. I didn't look, and it's like, whoa, there's still some stuff onto here. So there are varying sizes in here. Let me pick out. Well, here I'll give you a little bit of a better close up of what's going on. These are growing. Let me pick out a couple of big boys.
Tell them how many are in there.
I don't know how many of these are. I can't remember this.
You can guess. 3,000 at least.
Yeah. Now, there are... Oh, I got a baby eel.
Uh-oh.
I got a baby eel. Now,
$125 a pound.
how much again?
$1,125
There he is.
a pound.
$1,125 a pound for that little baby eel. If you could get a whole bunch of them, they eat them like spaghetti, I guess.
Yep.
The Asian people. All right, so you can see that you do have some varying in size, but there are some of the big boys. This one happens to be one of the biggest. Now, over on the other side, now these are all the same age. They were all born at the same time. This is the crazy part. And this is what's important. And this is what a lot of guys do not necessarily do. Let me just double check to make sure I don't have anything on here. I'm good. These can be out of the water for quite some time without any harm being done at all. All right. Now, this next group that I'm going to show you is the next size. Now, we got a lot. These are the jumbos. We got the jumbos, then we got two sizes of runts, and then we have the medium one, the bulk of the matter, which is two sections like this filled up pretty good. And they're a little bit smaller than those ones, not much. How do I know that they're smaller? I screened them through a certain screen size, and this is what's retained on that screen. It's important that you keep them separated. All right. Sorry for the delay. Again, this is live TV. Live commercial. Live action. Live action. All right. These are some other runts. We have a little bag action like this. Now, these are all of the runs, okay? This camera kind of sucks, huh?
Yeah, but in a couple of weeks, they're going to be the size of them other ones.
Yeah. So you're getting the idea on that. Now, those are the same age as those other ones. Unbelievable, right? Now, some guys, at some point, these runs are going to grow. They might jump up. They might not. You're going to get to a point sooner or later where you might be sacrificing them. But at the stage that we're at right now in the game and the excitement and the passion that we are saving every single little speck. When we screen through, and whatever screens through is saved, and then that's screened through, and whatever falls through that, and then that is saved. Right down to when you get to like shell hash, when you have a whole bunch of these and you smush them all together, you get this little bits of shell inside of the bottom of the barrel because you're always collecting the water, right? When you're straining and you're working the oysters. We're saving.
Left behind.
No oyster left behind is Fred. So Fred, now this is where things start to get a little tricky. All right. So you got that bag, right? You got the A's, the jumbo jumbos, and now you got two sizes of runs. I don't have a problem saving this size runs. Now there is a boatload in here. As you can see, there is considerable. Now that's that size. Now we have the Super Duty, Heavy Duty Runtaroonies that are in the ultimate in mesh bag. This is still dripping. That's how fresh it is out of the water.
But there could be $2,000 in that bag.
There could be, now Fred says there could be $2,000 in this bag. And yeah, there could be, but is there going to be $2,000 for the labor to get them to whatever size it is?
No.
Fred just seems to think that, after a little bit, we're just going to let them do their thing.
That's what we're going to do. We're not going to fool them. If they grow, they grow. If they don't grow, we're going to put them out on our bottom and let them go wild.
Now, that's when they start to, because at certain points, some of these guys over here, they might get stunted along the way, and they might become runts then, too, okay? So you're constantly cultivating your oysters and sizing them, hence the tumbler. We have 4 different sizes coming out of the tumbler, right? So, again, you're constantly doing that. And especially now, because right now, the growing season is in like double overdrive, and the shit is growing like mad, like a weed. If you look carefully on this big boy, you can see the edge.
It grows like your finger.
And that's probably a week.
It's like your fingernail.
That edge, that real thin part right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're doubling in volume every week, maybe even a little less. And they start to when you start to double in volume and you start to compound 50%, there's one for you kids. Another math problem. Start compounding a penny a day and see how long it takes to get to $1 million. All right, next. These guys. Let's see what they look like inside. You can see this mechanism worked pretty good. It's okay. I wouldn't necessarily, you got to keep it in the main cage.
Has to be contained.
Have to have in the main cage. The main cage is where it's at, and that's floating on the surface. Now, guys, I know you guys are thinking I'm absolutely cuckoo here, and I think I might be a little cuckoo too. But we just took possession of these little baby runts things. They're like grains of sand. Unbelievable that these are the same age as those other ones over there. Want to take another little look? There's a big one that started to take off. And again, everybody's got their own little kicker. All of a sudden, something might click in and go, let's go, time to start growing, and they start growing. Okay, so there is your oyster seed demonstration, whatever else you want to call it. And now I got these suckers all over, and I don't have any water out here. Now, can I rinse this off? Okay, a good question. I don't know if somebody asked. So, can we rinse these off with fresh water? Okay, two schools of thought on this. There are saltwater guys and there are freshwater guys, but there are some guys that are both salt and fresh. I am a salt and fresh guy. I have got no problems hosing something down for cleanly purposes, to give them a little hose off with fresh water. You get a little bit of pressure when you have the freshwater hose. So you can get a little bit more, especially when they're this size. You want to clean them, man. You want to give them a good roughing up, because you want to get that edge starting. Again, you're starting to manipulate that shell.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this.
So I got no problems with fresh.
It's way easier to process them on the boat the way we have it set up than it is at McDonald's.
Yeah, it's way better than any. Yeah. So far, all of our systems are working out mint. Right. Okay, because we have a saltwater hose on the boat that is kicking ass, and we got 2 pumps. If one breaks, we can always got a backup, so it's all good. Fred, the design of the boat,
right? Well, but it's way easier to process stuff on the boat than it is on land.
Oh yeah. Well, again, it's also how you got it set up. I mean, you can make certain things set up nice on land.
Yeah, you could if you weren't an
idiot. We're not going there. Next,
where is BMX Boy? Down south?
I heard. That's the last I heard. Wolfie might know. Wolfie, one of our fans.
Yeah, BMX Boy might be down south.
Right, I'm gonna try to close this thing back up again. You gotta bear with me there for a minute. So I don't know. Are we cuckoo saving all these little baby runs and whatnot? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I think, like Fred said, we'll let it rip and see what happens in a little bit. If they're looking good and whatnot. Now on the boat, what are we going to do with the runs? We talked about this too. We talked about bottom plant. I need you for a sec, Fred.
We might bring some runs over to Mauritius and put them in some prime areas on the bottom, and let them go in the wild.
West Hampton dunes.
Well, over what, Penniman's?
I need to throw this over. Yeah.
Now it doesn't work out.
That's it. All right. So we're set and ready to go. We got our runs back together. We got to get that back together. There it is, folks. Baby oysters, man. Baby oysters. It's all about that little lip and breaking that little lip off on a regular basis to get that cup happening. Any questions? Questions, comments? We're talking about the Big Seed Motel coming up, where you're going to get a whole boatload of them, and maybe we have some success with that. My philosophy is to take multiples at small size, manipulate them the way that you want them to be, and then continually skim off the fast growers and keep them going, because that's going to be your income source. And the sooner you have them on the farm and the sooner you have them off the farm, the sooner you have money in your pocket. And the name of the game is money, boys and girls. I am not afraid to admit it, but it's a game of whatever. I'm having a blast. I'm having a great time. Now, I do not want to confuse ethics and money, okay? It's all about giving back as well. I was watching some different shows today on some shows last night about Jay Leno was watching. I love Jay Leno. and I love all of those types of reality shows, and Jay Leno happens to be one of my favorites, guys. He was at a place that was doing hot rods, Fred, and the school was for people that troubled teens. He was taking them in and maybe problems with the law or drugs or school or whatever. And this school took these teens in and started to show them about hot rods. Their project cars were unbelievable to fund the program. Their project cars were $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 is what they got. You know, it was unbelievable. Really, really cool stuff. And this guy behind it was a troubled teen. And again, any of that kind of stuff, it just happens that it brings home to my heart. Was I a troubled teen? Maybe a smidgen, not really. I just worked a lot and played a lot. All right, Frederick, it is now time. You know, we have a boat. And as soon as the boat got in the water, I says, Fred,
I want to go fishing.
I want to fish. Fred, I got to have a fishing rod. Fred, you got to get me a fishing rod, Fred. I want a fishing rod.
All right. Well,
He says, you got to go to yard sales. I said, all right.
You can't have this one.
So he comes in today, and he's got a fishing rod in his hand, and my eyes lit up. I'm like, Fred, you're probably a fishing rod. He goes, no, you can't have it. Again, typical Freddie the Angry, Captain Freddie the Angry Man. You can't have this one. No way. This is a special one. Let me tell you all about it. And he starts to go off, and he starts to tell us about how we're going to get an education today in regards to this fishing rod, a part of the time of Freddie's life when he actually fished for a living.
With a fishing rod.
And this is, now we're going back before dinosaurs and just a smidgen before cars. And, so without further ado, it's time for Captain Freddie the Angry Man. Thanks for joining us today, Captain Freddie.
Yeah.
Don't hit me in the head with that thing, all right?
All
All right, Fred. So go ahead. I'm sorry. All kidding aside.
Are they going to be able to see this?
Well, that's why you got to look, and this is a pain in the ass. I told you, people got to. Where do you want it? This way?
Try this way and see how it looks.
It's tough.
Worse.
Yeah, this is better over here.
Maybe this one.
You're the one who was up there. Now I get to go sit in the
All
chair.
right, go ahead. All right, this is going to be technical and quick, and it may be interesting to some people, and it may not be.
Hey, Fred, haters hate and creators create. You just keep going,
okay,
Fred. You let it rip.
Right.
Don't let them fluster you, baby.
Anyway, this is anybody who fishes probably should pay attention, because what I'm going to tell you right now is knowledge that no one will ever tell you, and it's only basically about catching one kind of a fish. It's called a porgy or a scup, and that fish, it looks like a little fish about this big around, silvery, has spines on it, a little mouth, and they're like piranhas. So anyway, basically, I used to go to this time of the year, take my boat, go to Montauk at the end of Long Island, get a boat slip at Gone Fishing Marina, and I used to stay there for 2 to 3 months, and I used to go fishing every day and catch those porgy fish, put them in a box and ship them to Fulton Fish Market and get a check, make money.
How much money were you getting back then?
Well, on a good day, I'd make $300 after expenses.
And this was the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s, right.
Big money.
So, and the reason I did it was because it was fun, and clamming was like the dog days of summer then. The bay was hot, stinky, not comfortable. So it was way better to be out in Montauk and at night go to all the good bars, Salazar's, Shagwam Inn in town. It was just like a party place, So anyway,
not in the 70s.
Yeah, it was. So that, and there was a bunch of guys. There was a lot of guys there that did exactly what I did. But when I went there the first year, the thing was, sure, I knew how to throw a hook in the water and catch a fish, but porgy fishing in Montauk is a science, because the tide runs around the point 6 to 10 knots at certain times of the tide cycle. So this rod, you can't see it, but this.
Yes, you can. Hold it up.
Oh, maybe. This fishing rod has Power Pro on it, which is a braided line. It did not exist then. This is a fairly new thing. So we used to fish with 3 fishing rods with different weight lines on them. And the reason because of that is because you're anchored up in front of an obstruction and you have a chum pot going down to the bottom with clams in it that are all grinded up. And as the tide runs, the little pieces of clam come out and they make a streak in the bottom going along in the tide of the clam bait. Then the porgies smell that and they come up and they come up in a line to your chum pot. And they feed on all those little pieces of clam that are drifting down in the tide. So you're in 40 feet of water, and when you drop your line and your hook down to the bottom, and the tide is running, the resistance on the monofilament line back in the day would carry your hook way too far behind your boat.
Not in line
with the chum line. So
and the fish only hung out on the chum line.
The fish are only following that chum line. So if you're 10 feet over here, you're not catching any fish. And the whole concept is to be able to judge where the hook is going to go down and hit the bottom. It has to hit the bottom in the same place each time. It can't be 20 yards back and 5 yards up here. It has to go in an arc and go down and hit the bottom. The other thing is, I didn't have the right gear. You have to. There was 2 fishing reels that can be used for this.
I didn't get a good look at this. Now this is very technical. This is where we're getting the mechanics. This is where it gets good.
This is where it gets crazy. This is a Penn 940, a gold Penn 940, and what it is, it's a level wind. It has a level winder in the front that spools the line back and forth so that you don't have to keep your mind.
Get a little more specific there. That little thing right there.
It level winds.
As you reel, that thing goes up and down.
Right, I can show them that.
And it keeps the line going in and out. That's kind of cool.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can see it moving.
There it is.
Okay.
Move that.
The reason that you want the level wind is because you can't combine all these things by taking your thumb and moving the line back and forth. Otherwise, you'll get the line spooled up in the reel and it'll be a mess. Okay, so anyway, you need a level wind reel. The other thing is this reel has a clutch in it. Most fishing reels have a lever on the side to engage it.
Like a Penn Jigmaster?
Like a Jigmaster. It has a lever.
I knew that.
Yeah, Bart knew that. The thing with porgy fishing or scup fishing, you can push this little black lever on the side of the reel here.
That's pretty slick.
You can push this lever and you can take your thumb off of it.
Now it's free reeling.
Now it's going to go down and hit the bottom. Okay. Then as soon as you hit the bottom, you can just click the handle and it'll engage the reel.
You don't have to flick a lever. There's that little tenth of a half a second or something could be the difference of a good one.
You cannot think about anything when you're catching these fish. Now, this is the whole difference between catching a spackle bucket full of fish or catching 200 pounds of fish. Okay, you put a little piece of clam. That's the other thing. You get surf clams, and at night you open up the surf clams and cut them into strips.
That sounds like work.
And you put salt on them. You salt them with rock salt or heavy kosher salt, and then that turns them into real, like tans them like leather, so they can't rip off the hook by the fish. You drop the sinker down. As soon as that sinker hits the bottom, you engage the reel and pull up on the fishing rod and set the hook. If you feel a fish nibble like this on it, the bait is gone. You got no fish. Usually we used to fish with 2 hooks. A hook on the bottom and a hook about 2 feet above it. Because when you go down and bang the bottom, the fish bites the hook on the bottom and you catch him and you start reeling him up. And when he gets about 2 or 3 feet up off the bottom, another fish is liable to come up and grab that other piece of bait. So you get 2 fish at once.
2?
Yeah, 2.
For the price of 1.
Yeah. So anyway, now we have the boat. I'm going to take Bart because I still have my 3 fishing rods. And we're going to go out there and we're going to show these idiots that are out there how to catch these fish.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's so much action. It's It's not like sitting there, oh God, maybe I'm getting a bite, whatever. This is like nonstop action until
They're little. How big are they? How big do they go?
They can get up to 4 pounds. I heard they were catching giant ones.
Oh, you recently?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, what seems to be the holdup?
Well, we're ready. We're going.
We're going. All right, so there you have it. 35 minutes, right on the nose. How about it? Bring it on. Oh, that was great. That was good. Thanks, Fred. Thanks for showing us that.
Yeah. So that's it. You got a little bit of knowledge. The reason I know this is because when I was out there, I asked a whole bunch of questions to other guys. Nobody would tell me anything. So I got a couple tall cans of Budweiser, and there's this young kid from Connecticut over there that was catching fish like crazy. So at night I'd go sit on his boat and get him drunk, and he'd tell me how to catch the fish.
Oh, Fred.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, he didn't have to squeal like a pig, you know.
You got to do what you got to do.
You all had a good time.
I like to succeed.
I am a firm believer in sharing the knowledge.
Well, I just shared.
He just shared
that bunch of knowledge is. I'm telling you, it wasn't all of it, but it's a good portion of it.
All right, we got to get those back in the drink. We got to get on the boat. Maybe we need a little more fuel.
We might. No, we don't. I don't think. We might be going to over there.
Where?
To bring the boat, right?
Yeah.
We'll tell them that.
I'm telling them right now.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe we'll do a little Instagram live feed. You might want to tune in. What do you think? Come on. Definitely be an Instagram post. Will there be an Instagram live feed? Well, we'll see. I'd like to get it going through the locks. That would be something, going through the Hampton Bays locks. That's like that could be like the annual going through the locks show or something. I don't know.
Well,
going
you'll have to film that today because it's going to be open and running violently. Last night when I was at Michoud, it was closed.
It was closed?
Yeah.
So this is going through the Shinnecock locks. This could be some. Now, if we bring the boat back here in the wintertime, I don't know what's going to happen in the wintertime. Again, we're just flying by the seat of our pants, and it's not the treasure, it's the quest.
Probably it's going to get hauled out over there.
Has he got a big enough thing? Does he got one of them things?
Yeah.
He does?
Yeah,
Bill
that's
does?
40-foot boats all there. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, probably then it's going to get hauled out over there. So the chances of going through the locks very often are pretty rare because that's on the other fork and whatever. So this is a monumental task, and I am really looking forward to it. And we are having such a blast, and it wouldn't be half as much fun if it wasn't for you guys. I thank all you guys each and every week tuning in to check our shenanigans out. Captain Freddie, the Angry Bayman, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm your host, Bart Burke. Share it out. Happy Oyster Company. We are coming to you live each and every Saturday at 10 a.m. New York time. Our sponsor, Netminder. We burned through 5 gallons of this stuff. We're getting ready to go get some more of this. Maybe we're going to have to. This stuff works, okay? This stuff honestly works. I think it's worth its weight in gold. I strongly recommend it if you are a surface farmer. I really strongly recommend it to start, at least give it a test. Give it a shot. Don't necessarily take my word for it, but take it as a recommendation that you got to give it a shot because I'm telling you now, it could save you in boatloads of time. And if oysters are getting more float, they're going to grow faster. And if they grow faster, what happens to your pockets? They get fatter. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in. I want everybody to be cool. I want everybody to be kind. I want everybody to be happy. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And eat me. Pink. Pink.